Hi everybody, so where are we today, Phil?
We are in Leicester Square. We're hanging out with the stars, with the celebrities at one of London's most famous entertainment centres.
I can see a very famous guest next to Phil.
That's right, this is Paddington Bear, and we'll be meeting him. We'll be meeting a few others as well in a few minutes.
Ask most Londoners what they think of when they think of Leicester Square, and most of them will talk about cinemas. But in fact, Leicester Square has been around a lot longer than that. It's been around since the 1670s, and 150 years before that, it belonged to King Henry VIII.
The reason this area is called Leicester Square is because in 1630 this land was acquired by the Earl of Leicester. Really bad news for the locals, because up until that point, every year from the 12th of August, they were allowed to bring their cows here to feed them. At the beginning, well, you can imagine in the 1670s, this looked really different. No shops here for a start, they weren't allowed. A lot of aristocratic families lived here, but also this was the home in the 18th century to two of Britain's greatest painters, Joshua Reynolds and William Hogarth. Another notable resident was John Hunter. He was the Scottish surgeon whose collection of specimens forms the basis of the Hunterian Museum that is now in Lincoln's Inn Fields. In the 19th century, Leicester Square became known for its hotels, Turkish baths, and also theatres. And then, of course, in the 20th century, in turn, for its cinemas.
Shakespeare's statue has been around since 1874 and is based on his memorial at Westminster Abbey. However, the scroll here is a bit different. It's got a quotation from Twelfth Night. There is no darkness but ignorance. A quotation which I think is particularly appropriate for these uncertain times.
This was the home of Joshua Reynolds, as you can see from the plaque up here. And if you can't be bothered to look all the way up there, there's another one further down that says exactly the same thing. Leicester Square is one of the 3 yellow properties on the traditional British version of the Monopoly board. Apparently, the designers wanted to replicate a good Saturday night out. So you'd have, first of all, a film in Leicester Square. Secondly, you'd have a meal in Coventry Street. And thirdly, you'd go back to your hotel in Piccadilly.
This is Leicester Square Theatre. It used to be called the Notre Dame Hall when, in 1976, the Sex Pistols did one of their early gigs here. Anarchy in the UK!
Next door, we've got the Church of Notre Dame de France. Now, this wasn't always a church. Originally, it was Burford's Panorama, another kind of entertainment place in a centre for entertainment. And that explains the round shape of the building inside. Now, this has got one of my favourite works of art in London, and not enough people know about it. I'd love more people to see it. It's a mural that's painted in 3 parts by the artist, poet, playwright and filmmaker Jean Cocteau. It's the only public work of art of his that he created in the UK, and it shows the Annunciation, the Crucifixion and the Assumption. Now, he came here every day from the 3rd to the 11th of November 1959, and that is correct, even though the date says 1960 on the work itself. He arrived at 10 o'clock in the morning, after which he'd light a candle and get started on his work. And there was a screen in front of him so that journalists couldn't see what he was doing. One of the really noticeable things about the mural is that you only see the lower half of Christ's legs. The rest of the body is out of view. There's also a self-portrait of Cocteau, done in a slightly different style to the other parts of the work. Come here, have a look. It's a remarkable piece of work. I love it.
So this is Leicester Square station. Something like 27 million people a year go in and go out of this station. So that's 27 million entrances and exits a year. And it's a pretty old station. It's been around since 1906. Well, it's just started raining, so I thought it would be really appropriate to end this video next to Gene Kelly, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Phil, so it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
See you on the next one. Bye for now.